the Phantom Library, which is an extensive repository for the history of cryptic and mysterious creatures. My name is Dr. Death. I am the cryptologist for this library. Please join me in meeting my hairy friend, the Mogollon Monster.
Some humans call me a monster, but I prefer to be called a conservationist. The forest is my home, my passion, and my one true love. The forest has adopted me and transformed me into a creature that can easily survive the wild and protect the forest. My love affair with the Mogollon Rim in Arizona began when I was a young child. My dad was a certified arborist, and my mother was a devoted environmentalist. They both taught me the importance of the living forest, to love and respect it, and to take care of it. Our weekends and every summer vacation were spent on the rim. One summer, my father climbed up a tall fir tree to trim small branches and remove dead needles as I was helping my mother pick up litter. She often told me, "It is despicable how careless humans can be, tossing their trash to litter the forest and poison the animals with their toxic containers. They don't deserve to live on this planet. They are far too disrespectful." While attending to our duties, my mother and I suddenly observed a deer grazing in a clearing, and then she pointed to a baby bear cub trying to climb a tree. Nature has always been our refuge, peace and joy, and has always taken care of us. My father climbed down the tree to join us in our quiet observations of our surroundings and to take me fishing to catch some trout for dinner. My father showed me a damaged area of the forest that was blackened from a fire started by a careless human. "Next weekend, when we return to the rim, I will clean this mess up as best I can. I may be able to save some of the trees they destroyed." We catch a few trout and return to camp where Mother had started a fire near the shelter we built many years ago. So we cooked the fish over an open fire, and while eating, my father told ghost stories about rim runners and forest monsters. We retired to the shelter for the night and returned home at sunrise. The following weekend, we began our usual routine in the forest. While my mother and I were collecting trash, we heard my father cry out, followed by a loud snap and then a crash. We ran to the patch of burnt trees to find him in a contorted position on the ground. My mother placed her ear on his chest to listen for his breath and a heartbeat. My mother didn't detect either. She lets out a scream and begins CPR, but is unable to revive him. She immediately breaks down and looks up at the sky as she repeatedly screams at all the careless humans. I wrapped my arms around my grief-stricken mother and helped her to the shelter. I held her in my arms until she fell asleep. Early the next morning, I buried my father at the nearby creek. Left to fend for ourselves without our father's support and income, my mother and I had to take residence in the forest inside the shelter we had built. I tried to take care of my mother, but she refused to eat or leave the shelter for days that turned into weeks. After a month of trying to coax her to eat and venture outside the shelter, I was left to bury her alongside my father. I had to rely on the skills I learned from my parents in order to survive alone in the forest. I also observed animal behaviors, what they eat, where they drink, and how they live. Over time, I was quietly approached by a very tall, muscular, reddish-brown, hairy creature that was able to speak to me. It firmly grabbed a hold of my shoulders and stared me directly in the eyes, and in a calm but low growling voice said, "The hidden powers and intelligences of the forest have found you worthy to be a protector of nature. You will be transformed into one of us, with a coat of hair for warmth without a fire, superior strength and sharp claws and teeth for survival and protection for yourself and our forest." I observe careless humans leave their litter behind and fail to properly extinguish a campfire when they visit my forest. The hatred I feel towards these careless humans is further fueled by the loss of my parents. One day a fire caused by a careless human broke out and burned down my shelter. I tracked their whereabouts and chased them to the edge of the rim. My height, long matted hair, sharp teeth and claws made me look like a scary monster to them. Terrified by my appearance, these humans fell to their death. I am honestly satisfied with the outcome of their demise. I am a tracker of careless humans to control overpopulation of their breed. Population control of innocent forest animals is considered beneficial to the environment and other forest creatures, so the same must be true in controlling the population of careless humans to preserve the forest. As I said before, I am a conservationist, not a monster. Careless humans are trespassers, violators of nature, and their disrespectful behavior will not be tolerated in my forest. My height, long matted hair, sharp teeth and claws made me look like a scary monster to them. The next time you plan to travel down the highway over the rim, just keep on driving. You may not hear or see a visible warning, so let me be sure you understand and heed my warning now. Keep out!
Rest in peace.